have a favorite teacher?
Mm-hmm.
Do you? Why is she your favorite teacher? Or he?
Because she's awesome and she's nice and she makes me laugh and she helps me with stuff that I can't understand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I'm Chris Paul from Louisville, North Carolina, and I'm a professional basketball player in the NBA. I'm here to talk about my favorite teacher, Miss Felder. Miss Felder was my 10th grade biology teacher. She may be somewhere saying I'm just okay in the NBA, but if I would have stuck to it, I could have been a biology teacher. When you have good people to tell you that when you work hard, anything was possible, you can have a lasting imprint on someone's life.
My favorite teacher is a gentleman by the name of David Chatterjee.
The thing that my teacher gave me that I still use today is the ability to think.
He really challenged us. The one thing that I liked about it is I didn't have to study and remember and repeat it in an exam. I could derive the answer from the very basic principles.
I've taken that in everything that I do in life today.
I mean, Hotmail and all of the work that I'm doing right now, I always question status quo.
The ability to think about a problem from its core, from the very basic, grassroots kind of level.
Well, the best thing she does, she has a sweet smile.
Mr. Garrity was my high school geometry teacher, and in New York you had to pass the Regents, and the first time I had taken the class I passed the class but I did not pass the Regents, and when he would call on me I would shake, but he always said persevere, and he still talks to me in my head all the time. At the end of my mother made me take the class again in the summer so that I could retake the Regents, and by the end of the summer, he was talking to me as though I was one of the smart kids. I finally got it, and he helped me quite a bit, and I did pass the Regents.
Because she's nice and kind, and like she's like whenever she gives she gives us.
Yeah.
I'm Arnie Duncan, and I'm very pleased. My favorite teacher is right here with me today. Came all the way from Chicago. I really appreciate it. It's Darlene McCampbell. She was a high school English teacher and was just extraordinary, and not just for me, but for so many students who were lucky enough to have her. She worked us hard, so she challenged. This was not easy work, and there was never talk about limits or ceilings or what you can't do. It was always sort of pushing you. As good as you thought you were, she was pushing you to the next level.
My joy is so much when I'm there in that classroom. I think it's the kids who have done the work to make themselves, to become successful and to be good people. And it's true that I see my role as encouraging that and believing in that and tapping into the hunger for people being good and doing good things.
She worked extraordinarily hard, and I just remember that the number of comments on papers, it was like more red than blue on the papers, and sometimes, oh my goodness, but it was all constructive and it was all to make you better. But I thought she brought, at the end of the day, she brought the best out of us, and I think that's what great teaching is about, and I would not begin to be here today were it not for that.
The reason to go into teaching is that it's a total joy. There's no better job. Yes, it's hard work. I mean, the occupational hazard of bringing home papers every night. If you're an English teacher, that doesn't stop. But it's a gift.
Fun things.
Like what?
Like she makes us do centers, which is really fun.
My favorite teacher was named Gary Rathbun, and he was my 9th grade biology teacher. And I looked forward to every day
because he was so well organized and he didn't waste 1 second of our time. And he loved his subject matter, but he was a very dry kind of personality, kind of a professor type. He taught us in a way where we did everything with the material 3 different ways. We either drew a picture and then we'd write a story. I'm thinking about when we learned about the cell and the mitochondria and the endoplasmic reticulum, and we had to write a story as if it was a factory, and we had to explain how those parts worked. He taught me so well that when I went to college and took biology, I got an A and I never studied. I took my notebook from 9th grade biology and I used it as a 5th grade teacher, and I taught from the notebook from my 9th grade biology class. And I had the time of my life in his class, and it's stuck, the information is stuck to this day.
She is very nice teacher, and she is fun. Yeah.
What's her name?
Mrs. Cavasso.
She's a good teacher because she has the ability to make people just shine, like just to make them have, like she just makes them want to do it instead of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. You can just go, yes, you can do this.
I've had so many teachers who had a wonderful impact, but one teacher that stands out is Mrs. Hefty, who was my 5th grade teacher. I was in a new school, it had this unusual name. She taught me that I had something to say and reinforced the value of empathy that my mother and my grandparents had taught me. That's something that I carry with me every day as president. I don't think that there's any job that is going to give somebody more satisfaction than teaching.